How are we doing, everybody? So apologies for the delay with my video content recently. I've been extremely busy trying to find the time to get anything done at the moment other than crack on with my work and get these back to customers. Has been very hard work. So again, really do apologise for any lack of content. Anyway, so these two beauties here belong to my customer, Mark. They look like they've spent the majority of their life sat in their flight cases. They were turned up in these lovely looking road ready flight cases, pretty much the best of the best that you can buy. And they've been extremely well looked after. So as you can see, I've turned one turntable on with power just to show you what I've completed. They came in for a service. As with any turntables that come through here, if absolutely necessary, things like pitch control, the slider units are required, shader cloths, trims, etc. are required, then they'll be done. If not, then I advise the customer when they're here or after I've had a physical look inside the turntables to confirm if the parts are required. And obviously it's going to cost additional. If not, then it saves my customers money. So this pair here, I've got the original slider unit still in place. They cleaned up beautifully. They weren't molested at all. They've not had a hard life. Customer has also confirmed this has not had a hard life at all, which is really nice to see. They're in very nice condition. I mean, there's the odd nick here and there. I don't know if you can pick it up on this one here. There's the odd little mark here and there. This turntable as well as one right there. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Apart from the odd mark, they're in good condition. Platters are cleaned up extremely well. They've both been serviced, stripped down, rebuilt. Original sliders, the -2 sliders in here, both still functioning exactly as expected when they left the factory. I'm extremely impressed with this. Very minimal debris, dirt, dust, grime, whatever you want to call it, inside the sliders. So they function like they left the factory. I've changed over the pitch trims because the original trim on one of them was lifting and there was a few marks on the other. So we've replaced both pitch trims. We've also replaced the shader cloths as well. So obviously the dust catches underneath, makes things look a lot cleaner too. The arm assemblies, as with all of my turntables, has been machine polished. Pivots have been machine polished. As you can see on the video, lovely and clean. We had a problem on one of these turntables, actually with both of them to be fair. One of the rear weights was loose. It wasn't threading all the way in. That problem's now been sorted. The other turntable was extremely loose and the arm weight would just literally fall off the back, pretty much. So they've both been repaired. Anti-skate is functioning exactly as expected. Original bearings are perfect on these. Height adjustments are beautiful. So the adjusters are now been rebuilt. Like I say, the platters clean up extremely well. Towers for the pop-ups, lovely and clean. We've gone for blue LEDs instead of standard on everything on here. A nice spread of light, not overly bright. Obviously blue for the pitch, blue for the 33, blue for the 45, and blue for the strobe tower. And as you can see here as well with the camera over the top, that's actually a mark on the deck. I thought it was a bit of dust then. But yeah, as you can see with the camera over the top, nothing's going to blind you. Resistance has been changed, so the LEDs are not super bright. Sockets have been machine polished. Connector pins are all working exactly as expected. We've got new tactile switches for 33 and 45. And that's pretty much it, to be fair. I mean, they've been rebuilt. The original power cables are on there. I managed to save them. There's no breaks in the cables. The original audio cables are still functioning as expected. No breaks, no horrible crackly noises when you connect them. So we kept them in place. Second turntable, exactly the same treatment. Again, you can see the marks and things when you look over this now. But it's nothing that I would really be crying home about, to be honest. But they're an exceptionally clean pair, apart from the odd mark here and there. Even the rubber bases. We've cleaned up the rubber bases the best we can too. There's still a few marks on here that I'm going to be going over again shortly. See if we can get these out completely. They've been a bit of a nightmare, these. Try and get these out or darken them. There are some marks on the bases. We're going to go over these again. But as you can see from the feet as well, the rims of the feet have all been machine polished. Lovely and clean. And they're ready to rock and roll. Go back to my customer. It's being collected tomorrow. He's also got a pair of Reloop RP 8000 Mark IIs here, so you'll see a video shortly on these as well. Ironically, a lot of customers have been asking me about the 8000 Mark IIs. Is there any difference between the 7000 and the 8000? All the usual questions I get. So if you are interested in the 8000 Mark IIs, I would recommend watching my next video. They'll be updating shortly because they've surprised me quite a lot, to be honest. Or a nice turntable. These will always be the OGs as far as I'm concerned. You're never going to beat a pair of clean, well looked after Mark IIs, and this is an exceptionally good pair. It's exactly what I expect to see from a pair that have been looked after, sat in flight cases for their life, or just taken out of flight cases, sat in someone's studio, bedroom, etc. But the plimps on these are very nice, and I'm very happy with the outcome of these. It's even got his original SICK mats. He's got the rubber mats with these as well. One of these decks did have a very, very nasty issue when you basically start the turntable up. Sometimes it happened, sometimes it wouldn't. But when you hit the start and stop button, the platter would move back about, well, for a quarter of the way for half a second and then play as normal. But then it would happen 1 minute, then it wouldn't happen again. So it was an intermittent fault. And then what would happen was when you let the turntable just heat up and do its thing, so the component's nice and hot, it would do it quarter of the way, then it'd do it again, so it'd stop in 2 sections and then move forward again. Now that issue's obviously been resolved. I wouldn't be giving anything back to a customer that has issues. That issue has now been resolved. I'm not going to go into depth or anything as to what was causing the problem, as you never know who's watching these videos. With the greatest of respect, I'm keeping that to myself. It's like going into KFC and asking for the Colonel's secret recipe. You do not mention these things on videos. I've learned that a very long time ago. Because you never know who's watching. People will be copying problems, trying to solve issues themselves and go, I don't know how to do it. And then they watch a video and go, oh, I'll try that component. But even if I did tell you, it's not the same set of components that you change on a board that will cause the same problem. Not every deck is exactly the same. There will be the same problem. Say, for an example, runway speed issues, where you have turntables, you turn the power on, the LEDs will both light up, platter will spin out of control, or you get it with a strobe tower turns off with the LEDs on, vice versa. It's not the same set of components that are causing the problem. You may find that the same components may induce the issue, but there are other components that cause the problem, and that's where you got to start doing troubleshooting to get your head around and find the issue to isolate it. So even if I did actually tell you, it doesn't actually matter, but I'm keeping it to myself. And there we go, another very nice pair of 1210 Mark IIs that have come through my door. They're being collected tomorrow, as I've already said, along with his RP8000s. And keep your eyes peeled in the next video if you are interested in RP8000 by Reloop, because again, there's going to be a video on them. There we go. What do you think of them, guys? Are yours in as good condition as this? Pop your comments down below. I will try to respond back to everybody as quickly as I possibly can, but it is extremely hard for me at the moment because it's hard enough just trying to get a video uploaded. So just bear that in mind when you do put comments on if I don't get back to you straight away. I'm not ignoring everybody. I'm just very, very busy. All right, so we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Another pair ready to rock and roll.